We're going to watch a Monday Motivation in just a second. But before we do, I want to read a couple things to you. And I have some announcements too. So trying to decide what order this should really flow in, but we'll just go with it. This morning, a little bit before noon today, one of, I don't know, let me see, I'm seeing who all is on here. So Crystal, who is lots of times on here, she sent a message in a group that I'm in, and it coincided so well with another message that I got about the same time that was attached to that song I was just playing. I thought I would share it tonight. So she just said, declaring and decreeing that the great distractions are being lifted as the sunlight of morning hits. It's time for the great awakening of God's people, all people, that we the people unite and usher in those that once were blind. I see Jesus extending his arms and bringing in the harvest, the largest harvest seen thus far. I proclaim eyes open and hearts softened to the Father's love. Okay, that's what she said to me. Another one of my feeler seer, super anointed friends sent me this 30 minutes later, unbeknownst. These two people don't know each other. She said, I feel a huge shift coming in the next 24-ish hours. Alignment of God's plan, plus specifically feel a release of blessings coming in the collective and for us. But I'm telling you, because I feel like we will see it in the world. And I said, oh, I'm in agreement with this. And she said, the ocean feels like it is electrically charged. I'm standing on our deck watching the waves and my whole body is tingling. I'm saying over and over, God is for you out into the world. I still just keep coming back to that. People just need to see that he is trustworthy. So that's what I felt like I should open with. And may that be our prayer and may that be true, right? Okay. So I hope that blessed you like it blessed me this morning. And then she said, that last one, she said, and this song, the song that we opened up with tonight, she said, I'm singing it over my family, over the world for 1,000 generations. That's, the Lord bless you and keep you and shine his light upon you. All those things, right? And amen. So I thought I would open us up with a blessing like that tonight. I have such anticipation and expectation in my heart. And I felt like that conveyed it really well. So we're going to jump over into the Monday motivation. I encourage you during this time, if you are a multitasker, if you're not a multitasker, just listen. If you are a multitasker, I encourage you, reach out and love on a handful of people. Just say hi. Literally last night, I think it was, I came across something. I can't even remember what it was now. Let me think. Oh, here we go. Oh, it was a video of a big box. Some of you may have gotten it from me. It was like a big box on the ground, and this guy goes up and almost, to me, I thought it was about to be a gender reveal because he pulls the top off the box, and I thought colored balloons were going to come out of it. And in fact, I'll just show it to you really quick. And so I want to tell you what I did with this video. I wasn't even thinking about that that's what I was doing. And I thought I probably need to tell everybody tomorrow night that that's what I did. So especially since I thought this was going to be a gender reveal and it turned out to be something totally different, I titled it Gender Reveal. And then I literally clicked the forward because someone sent it to me in Messenger. Okay. So I clicked the, like little arrow button to forward it, and it pulls up all these suggestions of people that I could send it to. And I was like, oh, you and you and you and you and you and oh, you'd like that, and you and you and you. I have been in conversations all day long, not about that video. It started because of the video, because it was a cool video, but then people are just catching up with me, right? People who I thought would think that that video was cool. I didn't realize I was being brilliant. Like I wasn't doing it for that purpose, but it would be a great plan if you're one of those people who is like, I have no idea what to say to people. If you see something cool, especially that's non-controversial, don't follow my lead right now, y'all. I'm creating all kinds of controversy on my wall, and I'm okay with that. Got thick skin, basically born for it. Not everybody is, I get that. So I'm not telling you, step out there, really show your pearls, let them get stepped on. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm telling you. But like, this video is super cool. I'll see if I can. I started to show it through my, I think I can actually grab it over here. Hang on, because I shared it from Facebook. Hold on one moment, please, everyone. This will give you an idea of the feel of the kind of thing I'm talking about, sending out to anybody who you think would like it. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. Share. Having to move things around because I wasn't anticipating doing this, but it's too good not to. Are you guys able to see my screen right now? Shows my Facebook. Okay, here we go. Ah! Okay, here we go. See how it looks like a gender reveal box? It goes into slow motion. Oh. Did you know that they were that big? I mean, seriously. No. The wingspan on that thing, if you turned it sideways, is taller than that man, it looked like to me. The audio is slowed down so you can just hear the whoo, whoo. I did something kind of similar to this. I'll go ahead and pause it. You get the gist. I did something similar to that at Christmas time. Some of you may have gotten it from me. It was a video of me playing a flute, only it wasn't me, but it was really, really bad. It was like, it starts off, it sounds like it's concert music. Bum, 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 and all of a sudden it's a kazoo or something like that. Okay, it's playing like Ave Maria or something, which whatever. And I was like, my Christmas card to you. And I started conversations that are still going, like people I hadn't talked to in forever, and now they're like once a day saying something to me, almost like keeping up with like a Snapchat. What do they call that when you don't let something your streak? Like, okay, it's like now I have conversations going back and forth all the time from people I haven't been caught up with in a long time. And Daisy, for goodness sake, my dog comes in here and licks her paw, and it sounds really gross. I'm sorry if y'all can hear that noise. Oh, everyone hold for just one moment, please. Come on, Daisy. Come on, let's play here. Okay. So now for real, back to what we were talking about. If you have seen something cool like that recently that someone has sent you in Messenger, it's super easy to hit that little forward button, the up button, and it will pull up the people that you talk to a lot. And then underneath that, it'll start pulling up other people. Send it to some people. You might want to say something in, because I will tell you that my personality that I'm just sharing with you, my personality is when someone sends me something that is only a picture, only a video, and they don't say, hey, for example, right now I'm liable to wake up and have, like I said, 20 or more 2-hour videos in my Messenger. Hey, and they don't even say, what do you think of this? Or this video is about such and such, fast forward to the such and such. They just send me a video. And most of the time in those instances, and so I'm only speaking for your help here, personality like mine is going to go, what? Like, why are you sending me this? Well, people are sending me videos right now that are about all the stuff I've been posting on my wall. They want to know my feedback on stuff or whatever. But it works much better for a personality like me if somebody sends me a thing that's short and sweet like that and maybe says something quirky with it or whatever. But you can actually type in something like gender reveal, hit the up button if you're pulling it from Messenger, and every person that you send it to, it's going to say gender reveal. It's going to have the bird doing its thing. Okay. So if you want to change the message out between people, you have to actually, do that. So, okay, we're going to watch our Monday motivation, and that'll give you guys something to do if you'd like to start some conversations with people. Also, remember that when you start conversations with people, it causes your stuff to go through their news feed. When you post things the next day, they see it, and they are more likely to see your stuff too. Okay, here we go. All right. I'll move this. I'm going to try to move this somewhere where it won't be in the way, and you can still read the... Here, I'll do it like that, maybe.
You guys jump on in just a hot New York second, but it looks good. You look good. You sound good. I think we're all set to go.
Can you guys see that?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Motivation Monday. My name is Genevieve Scori. I'm the Senior Director of Global Ambassador Training, and we have two special guests today. We have Diamond Ambassador Tara Castaneda, and we have a Senior Gold Ambassador on her team, Carly Carter. And they are going to share with you all that you need to know about using stories, in particular, like using stories and driving to those 3-day challenges. Quick question, just want to make sure that you're on the right call. How many of you would like to have more people in your 3-day challenges? I know you're starting one tomorrow, but there's some after that need to happen. So how many of you would like to get the inside scoop on how do you use stories to actually get more? Yes, and if you're new to 3-day challenges, hop on over after the call to our Plexus Ambassador community and look for the videos there about 3-day challenges. So a 3-day challenge is, I had my box here a second ago, is 3 days of products that you can invite your prospects to participate in. It's 3 days of products for $19.99, and your potential customer gets a coupon to use for that same amount of money to a corresponding pack. And so it's almost like trying the products for free. And so Plexus provides all of the posts that you need. Usually you want to put those people in a group together. We're going to talk a little more about that, but put them in a group together. It tells you what you should be saying and how you should interact with them. And so if you're brand new to Plexus, even if you don't have a challenge going on currently, you want to be over in the ambassador community starting tomorrow, so that you can get the scoop on all the insights. So we'll take you through that, don't worry. If you're in the new Ambassador Academy, we got you covered. We also want to thank everybody for using the Train Me text. I keep getting I'm not sure where I should be standing here to get the best light. There we go. No, anyhow, okay. I'm a flunky. There we go. We're so excited for you. We are still, some of you have said that you're having trouble with the Train Me text. We know that we have a little trouble in Canada at the moment. We're still working to resolve that. And then if you are not in Canada, please email training@plexusworldwide.com so we can investigate. We do need your phone number so that we can figure out why that is happening. So that is also the best way to get recordings, just FYI. So if you want a recording, you absolutely positively want to be on the Train Me text, where we just send it right to your phone. boop, give you the little heads up that there's something coming up that you want to be a part of. And then you get the recording right to your phone. So we are starting those 3-day challenges today. And here's the thing I want you to know. We're going to take you all the way through this process. We've got the 27th, the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th. There are 4 days left, y'all, in this month. It is almost like a whole week, if you ask me. Nobody asked me, but it is. It's like a whole week. And what happens a lot of times is that people quit early. Never quit early. Never quit early. Because we're going to see in these next 4 days more promotions. Like, seriously, the promotions come in starting now, meaning that when you've been working as hard as you have been working all of this time, it's very much like priming a pump. It's very much like sowing seeds. The harvest comes in, and you got to be there to pick it up. And can I just tell you something? It is Magic Week. Like, I love the last week of the month. I call it Magic Week because it always appears like people magically come out of nowhere. But it really, all it is it's you staying in your garden for your harvest, right? It's you going out and checking your garden for your harvest. And when people quit because it doesn't look like it's working, like, you're missing out on the best part of the month. So I don't care what your business looks like right now. Train yourself to be at a place that you don't care what your business looks like. Like, I'm doing the work because I enjoy it. I'm doing the work because I know it works. I'm following the process. And I seriously believe, like, you will be saying on the 1st, it was magic. I'm not really sure how it happened. Like, all of a sudden, 3 people came out of nowhere, right? So Carly's shaking her head. So stay in the game, y'all. You do not want to miss out. So that's just the only thing I want to tell you. I have seen it. I've so many times people are like, oh, it doesn't look like it's going to work out for me. 2 things happen. People either go, oh, it doesn't look like it's going to work out for me, and they quit, or they get their 3 or even their 6 and then they stop. Both of those things are not no, because there might be more coming in, and I know you all are working for more than those incentives. I know that you are working to help people. And can you imagine someone knocking on your Plexus door and you're not working? Right? So we work through the end of the month because we have a heart for helping people. All the incentives are nice and everything, but it never looks like it's going to work out until it actually works out. So, okay, hashtag finish strong, hashtag keep working. And with that in mind, we want to talk about this topic of stories. So this came about because Tara was on a call with us earlier in the season as she started to go down this tangent. And I was like, hey, stop it for a second. Like, stay on this topic, but we need to know more about this topic. And so we invited her and Carly to come and tell us what they're doing that's creating more impact. And so here's one thing I know for sure, and I don't know a lot, but what I know for sure is that if you use the features that a platform has put out, it always works to your advantage, right? So, if you're not doing stories, you want to be doing stories because these platforms tend to push out the things that they are creating. And so it's always good to use the new things because they want to push that content out. And so, Tara, Carly, I am just going to turn this all over to you. I have already seen the slides, y'all. I have seen this. You better get your pens out. I've seen slides. Pay attention. Call your grandma. Get your grandma on this call. Like, this is good stuff. So I'm going to turn the call over to all y'all and let you have a good time training up our lovely ambassador base. I'll be back later.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay, so let's chat stories. And I actually have a really cool story about stories today. I did a story about both the Renew You box and the beauty box today in my stories. And just as I was logging in to train you guys, I had someone else purchase a 3-day challenge pack. And then 2 others were interested in just going ahead and joining. They work. They work. They work. If you use the features that we have said. So we're going to talk about why you want to use stories in the first place. Okay. But before I go there, I cannot take credit for this. Carly Carter is on this call for a reason. She is the genius behind this. I actually was in this school that was like, I don't know what stories is, and I'm kind of nervous to use them. And she was like, girlfriend, no, she actually said, we're doing this because it's working. So this is her brainchild. So I'm so excited for her to share this with you. She's going to knock it out of the park. But here's what she helped me realize: 7 reasons to use stories. So, you know, when you're on your phone and you're looking at Facebook, when you scroll down, you're looking at people's walls, right? The things that they post. Well, I quickly realized, thanks to Carly, that a lot of people aren't scrolling down. They're also scrolling to the side. When you scroll to the side at the very top, that's where you see people's 24-hour stories. I actually was in the airport recently and I decided to people watch and see what they were doing on Instagram and on Facebook. And it became very apparent to me that a lot of people are looking at stories. Stories is where it's at, guys. Okay, so we also do stories along with posts. So then you're getting people to look at both. You're increasing your audience, right? Number 2, you can actually see who looks at your stories and sticks around until the end of the stories. Why would this be helpful? Carly, why is this helpful?
Because it tells you who to message.
Yes! Right? So now you know who's looking, who's sticking around to the end, and who to talk to. So for instance, Carly, you messaged someone the other day, and what was their response? Do you remember? I'm being a little vague here.
Which one are you talking about?
I know which one. Where they were like, girl, that's so funny. About messaging you, and you were like, I wonder why I knew to message you, because I saw you looking at my story, right? So you can actually see it. I also have noticed that I get a lot more views on stories than I do on my posts. Number 3, you can work on the skill set of storytelling. And Carly's going to go over this later today. She's excellent at storytelling. You can see when people are starting to trickle off in your story. So maybe you need to edit a few things to keep people's attention. What kind of stories are people sticking around to actually watch until the end? What's working? What's working? What doesn't work for you? So you can really hone in on that skill set. Number 4, it's a gratitude reminder to see how far you've come and how every little win is powerful. And what do I mean by that? When you get to share every detail of your story, and we have an exercise for you guys in just a moment that Carly's going to walk you through, you get to remember all the nitty-gritty details of your story and get to share it again. And then you go, whoa, I haven't thought about that part of my story yet in a long time. And you gain some gratitude from it. Number 5, newbies like stories because they're not as permanent as posts on their walls, right? They're 24 hours. They appear and then disappear. So we are finding that more newbies are more likely to post a story because it's not as concrete, permanent. But it's still very effective. Number 6, you have a reason to close because they have voted yes in your poll. Okay, if you're like, what are they talking about? Stay tuned. We're going to teach you how to do this. But if somebody votes in your poll and you contact them, they have given you indirect permission to say, hey, it's time to close because you already said yes to me. So the closing rate when you use stories. And number 7, it's an way to funnel friends into 3-day challenges. Like I had one today, didn't even know she was interested, say, hey, I'm so ready. Sign me up with a Renew You 3-day challenge. So very, very fun. Okay, let's move on.
Okay, so when I first started doing these stories and it got kind of real quick, I tried to share it with my team, and a lot of my team was like, oh, but I don't have a story to tell, Carly. You know, I haven't lost 30 pounds recently, or I don't have a baby, or, you know, first one thing another. And I was like, stop, let's do this. Okay, so Sarah, are we asking them to do it now, or just keep this in the back of their minds and do it whenever we get a call?
let's do instead of the full 2 minutes, let's do 30 seconds. Let them have a couple of seconds to write some examples down so that they can get to work right after this.
Okay, so I'm a very black and white person. So I want you to think, what has Plexus done for my health? And what has Plexus, how has it benefited me from working this as a business? All right. So I want you to take, whenever we get off the call, we're going to do 30 seconds now, but when you get off the call, I want you to invest the actual 4 minute or 2 minutes into each part of this, whatever.
Exercise.
That's what I meant. Okay. So I want you to make a list of everything Plexus has done for you. Okay. Take 30 seconds and go now. What has Plexus done for me?
As far as your health, let's fine tune it. What has it done for your health? And get into that nitty gritty, guys. Get into this very tiny little things. You know, I fall asleep faster. That's a bullet point. I stay asleep longer. That can be a bullet point. You see how we can get super fine toothed into our bullet points there. So 30 seconds on health. You can put some in the chats. So much more energy. Yes.
For me,
Weight loss. Okay, Susan. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, for me, when I started Plexus 3 years ago, I did not need to lose weight. So for me, I've never done a story about weight loss because it hasn't helped me there. But what it did do is give me stamina to get through a CrossFit workout, or the stamina to make it through bath time and bedtime with my children. So it doesn't have to be specifically, I lost 70 pounds. I mean, think about your people that are following you on Facebook. They want to know what's going on in your life. Okay. So think about.
Can I stop you for a second, Kimberly? Because I love where this is headed, and I want to make sure they are going to do this because I'm reading the thing. So he won't yell at you. I'm gonna fuss at you a little bit. Okay. So when you say things like I'm a nicer person, what they're asking you to do is translate that to like I have more patience and love for my kiddos. Does that make sense? When you say I have a stronger immune system and I sleep better, what we want you to do is we want you to flip that into a story. Like I wake up feeling ready to start my day because I'm sleeping better. Does that make sense, y'all? I have better digestion, which allows me to have less stress about what I eat. So make a story out of it, y'all. Sorry, I just like this is. Can I just tell you, if you don't do anything but the slide, it's easily worth $2,000 worth of training. I'm not kidding. Like people sell this information, y'all. So like get in here, get dirty, get gritty. So I'm sorry, I just really, Carly, love this.
I love it.
So go.
You're exactly right, Genevieve. So what we're doing is, you have these bullet points, more energy. And exactly what Genevieve is saying is you're gonna then look at one of these bullet points, and we're kind of jumping a little bit ahead, but then you're gonna create a story. What does that mean for you? What does that look like for you? What did it look like when you didn't have energy? Paint that picture. Were you sitting on the sofa all the time? Were you sitting in the lawn chair rather than going out and running in the field with your kids? Were you, unable to wake up without feeling absolutely groggy, and so your mornings were always just slum? What did your life look like before you had the energy? And then what does it look like now? That's the story you want to tell, okay? And then you also do it for 30 seconds or 2 minutes for your business. So, Carly, what are some examples of working a business? Because it doesn't just have to be financial.
Okay, you cut out there. Can you repeat your question?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, guys. I said, Carly, what are some examples for the business side? Some bullet points for the business side, because it doesn't just have to be financial benefits. What are some bullet points when you're sitting down and making your list of what has working Plexus done for me? What are some examples there?
Okay, so my most favorite and most recent example, y'all, my microwave went out. We moved into a new house in November. It's well, new to us. It was used. And my microwave went out. And the way it's built in, it was like a very expensive microwave. And my husband was like, just go get one from Walmart that's like $50 and stick it in this built-in cutout hole. And I was like, I'm not having no $50 Walmart microwave. And y'all, because of Plexus, I was able to purchase the exact microwave with the exact filter fit thing around it, the built-in really nice microwave because of Plexus. But that was the story. Took a picture of my old busted microwave and my new microwave in front of the place where I bought the microwave. And I was able to say, hey, look, because I help people get healthy and happy, I was able to purchase this microwave. And it can be just that simple.
Yep. It also could be about the friendships that you create, the community, the sense of fulfillment, self-satisfaction of helping others. Paint a story around that. It could be a material thing that you were able to purchase for your family, or it could be something that the business, the team that you're a part of, this company that you're a part of, One Plexus, that has added to your life, that has enhanced your life. And friends, especially right now, people are looking for connection. Right? We are looking for connection.
Yes. So before we got started, I saw some comments. People were saying, I don't have an Instagram, or I don't know how to do Instagram stories. I'm going to tell you, the two platforms, Facebook and Instagram, you can marry them together. So if you were to start your story in Instagram, you can click the button and have it share over to your Facebook. For me, I'm not hip yet. I'm working on it, working on my Instagram game. I do mine on Facebook first, and then I just save them to my camera roll, and I go and upload them into Instagram. So what we're going to focus on right here is how to make a story on Facebook. So if you look at the slide, down at the bottom left-hand corner is the little blue house. So you click on that little blue house, and your name or your photo will pop up right here on the corner. There's a plus sign, okay? That plus sign opens up and allows you to add photos from your camera roll or your favorites or your videos or your boomerangs or your selfies or whatever you've got, however you have your photos organized. And you can click on the first photo in your camera roll and start typing, okay? So then you start typing, you press done, and then boom, you have your very first slide, your very first story. It's just that simple.
That's right. That's right. And one tip that I have for you guys is make sure it completely uploads before your next one, you post your next one, so that it is telling a story. So every click that someone does when they're going along your story, every click is like the next page of the book. It's telling the story. So here are some tips when you use stories. So don't use a whole bunch of emojis or GIFs, stickers, because that can be distracting from what you want. Now, if you want to use a couple here and there, that's fine. But if you put like 5 on one, it can be very distracting. And then people are like, what am I even looking at? So you want to be clear and concise. Don't use long paragraphs. Are you going to sit there and read a whole bunch of paragraphs? I'm not. I don't have time for that. I have time to go, boop, oh, boop, I got it. You know what I mean? So make it quick, clear, concise, but still pull out that emotion, guys. Pull out that emotion. Tell the story. Use your own photos. Look for oldies. So I'm going to be real. This, at first, may take you a little bit of time to get used to telling stories. For me, the first one took me about 45 minutes to really get a grasp in my head and find the photos. So I had to go back like in 2013 before I started Plexus to find my pre-Plexus photos for that particular story, or photos of when I just had a baby and they're awful photos of me. I look sick and tired and I'm holding the baby and I'm half asleep, but I'm trying to tell a story about how tired I was. So I'm trying to find these photos that align with the story I'm trying to say. So use your own photos. be consistent with colors and fonts. Why would you want to do this? Carly, why do you want to be consistent with colors and fonts?
Okay, so guys, if you hear anything tonight, this slide is, I know Genevieve said the other one was gold, but y'all, this is the meat and potatoes to all of this. These 4 things right here is why it works. If people want simple, people want to just click through and get what you're trying to give them. Okay, so if you're using cursive fonts and lime green and red, and it's too many stickers and fireworks and gifts, and it can be overwhelming. People don't care that much. Just to be honest, they don't. They want to get what you're picking up or putting down. They're wanting to pick up what you're putting down, and it needs to be quick. Okay, so for me, a little backstory on me. I have a reading disability, and so whenever I'm reading through all these paragraphs in cursive, I'm not sticking around for that. Okay, so mine is black and white, and it's in all caps, because guess what? If I forget to capitalize something, it does it for me. No big deal. Okay, so if you're being consistent with your colors, I would suggest in the beginning start with black and white. And then the last thing we want to talk about is implementing a daily poll. And guys, this is where the money's at.
This is so key.
This is the money maker.
So key.
And we're going to go through a couple of examples here in just a second. If you don't know how to do a poll, right back on the slide before us, up there at the very top, before your camera roll, up there at the very top, it says text, selfie, boomerang, and I think the very next one is the word poll. And so you can add a poll that way, and it's a little bit different on Instagram. So if you need any help with that, feel free to reach out to someone who's tech savvy and they can hook you up. But you want a poll.
Yeah, so it's like it's right here at the top. I don't know if you can see it. So you can scroll across, and it's the very last one that says poll, and you click it.
Or you can use the picture and then put the poll on the picture, which is what we're going to show you in just a second. Two things I want to tell you about the poll. Placement of the poll is key. Okay. You know, we all click with our right thumb down there at that bottom right-hand corner. If you don't want a whole bunch of spam and people saying, oh, it was a mistake, oh, I accidentally clicked it, move your little poll over, give them the benefit of actually reaching out to you so that you don't look silly. Hey, girl, I saw you voted in my poll. You know, would you like some more information on X Factor Kids? And they're like, no, I'm sorry, that was a mistake, and it's such a bummer, and you don't want to deal with that. Okay, so be sure you place your poll somewhere that's not in the bottom right-hand corner. Also, on your polls, you're going to only want to give positive responses. So,
Yes.
so you want to make sure that you're not saying yes or no, or yes, please, or no, thank you, or send me info and no, I don't care about your information. Like, you only want to give them 2 positive choices to choose from. So yes, send me the details. I would love more information. Or Tara, do you have an example?
Yes, so you can say, are you interested in a 3-day challenge? You can say, tell me more, or I'm totally in. Or just 2 positive things. Yeah, I could barely hear your examples, Carly, but 2 positive responses. So maybe not a yes and a no, but I'm interested, I'm 100% with the thumbs up sign.
Tell me more. Give me the info.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so here is an actual real life example of a Carly Carter story. Now listen, guys, there's actually probably 10 or 11 slides that go with this story, but for sake of time and space, we only gave you 4. You can see right here, y'all, I'm holding a bag of active, 4 bags of active, and this picture was taken last summer. I'm pregnant, you can't even tell in it, but put my words over that active and it looks like I'm holding a bunch of stuff, right? And so it says, I know there's so much out there to choose from, and I'm far from an expert. Boom, next slide. On top of that, I use this same picture, and you can do this. You can layer your fonts, but if you start layering your fonts, you're going to want to change the color, but keep the same script. Okay, keep the same font. You can change color, but keep the same font. And it says, this is why I'm super jazzed about our new 3-day beauty box trials. Similar concept as our 3-day weight loss challenge boxes, but totally focused on the skin from the inside out. Now, that is a little bit long, but I was trying to convey like an actual message. Y'all, they come through it and they say, and the thing that pops out to them is jazzed 3-day beauty box. They might hold their thumb down and continue reading the rest. Then the next slide, kind of, there's like a little peeking picture of the beauty box in the back, and it tells what's in there. 3 days, 3 products, Slim, Joyum Skincare, and the collagen. $20 super cheap, and then you get a coupon back. So, I mean, who doesn't want to have that? And then the next slide is my poll. Okay, so it says 3 days, 4 products, who wants in? And then you can tell down at the bottom it says absolutely yes, and send me the details. So 2 positive responses, and it's not over in the right-hand corner. Easy to read, easy to reply to, or easy to skip on if they're not interested today. Because guess what? You're going to keep doing this, and they're going to keep getting it, and they're going to be saturated, and they're going to be like, okay, dang it, Carly Carter, give me one of those dang boxes. And then you can add them to your group.
So I just saw a really great question come in from the chat. And the question was, how many days in between each picture do you post? This is actually very quickly back to back to back. So a story only lasts 24 hours, okay? And then it disappears. So you want to post these, the very first one. I know there's so much out there to choose from. Seconds later, you want to get up the second picture and post it, because as people look through it, they're going to click through the stories and read each one of these. So it's a message that they're receiving all together. So stories are 24 hours and then they disappear. So you want to post your individual photos pretty quickly. Does that make sense? Can I explain that? Okay, Carly.
You are, and something I was going to say too, if you are not comfortable with stories, reach out to somebody who you know is good at stories. First, start by going to people's stories, and it's going to make sense to you. Oh, this is how it works. Okay, so there is actually a feature. Whenever you make your picture and your font and what you want to say, you can save it, and it saves your camera roll, and then you discard post, and it goes away, and then you start working on your second picture. Save it, discard post, next picture. That way, at the very end, you've got all 10 of them. You can upload all multiple pictures. You can upload 10 at a time on Facebook, and they're all there for you in order. So you don't have to worry about, leaving people hanging, if that makes sense.
Yes, I just saw another post come in a chat that says, I found that people don't always know how to click through a post. That's great. So guess what? We're going to teach them. So maybe I've done several that says, I used to have a lot less energy than I do now. ... and then the arrow this way, click for more. So, early on, I was teaching people there's another message here. So you can incorporate that into your messages. So you're guiding them with how you want them to read your story. Awesome. Okay, next slide. Let's keep going.
Okay, so quickly, here is just an example of what you might send out to somebody that you've noticed is watching your stories. Okay, so hey, Brooke, I know you've been thinking about trying Plexus. I have a 3-day group starting next week. It's only $20 for the pink drink, collagen, Joyum Skincare. If you decide, sorry, I've got kids walking in, my bad. If you decide to join at the end, there's a $20 coupon that you can put towards your first order. It ends up making the sample pack actually free. Do you want to do this 3-day challenge with us? And if she says no, which she probably will, you say, girl, no big deal. I can still add you to our group. Okay, you can sit in there and be a fly on the wall. May I add you? I know I didn't read that verbatim, but something along those lines. Like, okay, I understand $20 might be tight right now, but hey, I can still add you to the group, guys. And when they get in that group, they are going to just be saturated by Plexus and how incredible and awesome products are, how great of a community we have within those 3-day challenge groups. And basically, they're just going to want to jump in with you. I promise it works.
It's very true.
And then this one says, if they say yes, we're following up with our potentials. Hey, we're doing this next week. I'm so excited for you. I was thinking how awesome it would be to invite a couple of your friends. I know your friends are sitting at home on their couch right now and, might enjoy hanging out with some grown-ups. Let's add them to our group. Can you think of anyone who would want better energy, better sleep, improved gut health, weight loss? And if they're like, hey, I'm not going to invite my friends. Hey, give me their name. I don't mind reaching out to them. I can say, you know what, your friend Brooke gave me your name and we're going to do this challenge together. Would you like to be part of it? And guess what? If they say no, y'all, you planted a seed. It's no big deal. Hey, I just wanted to, this is for somebody who, you might have talked to in November and we didn't have the challenge boxes then. You want to kind of circle back around and say, hey, I wanted to see if you're interested in trying a new blood test. New weight loss pack. Here it is. It's beautiful. Also helps with your energy, overall health. If weight loss isn't an interest to you, would you like to hear more? And they can either say yes or no. And you just go from there. And guess what? If it's crickets or they don't say anything, hit them back up the next time a 3-day challenge rolls around.
That's so true. And something that I teach my team is a person's response is independent of your offering. What does that mean? They get the choice to say yes or no. And you're going to find that some people say yes and some people say no, but it is up to us to make that offer, right? They get to have their own choice. But I will tell you, if you use your stories right and you're telling that emotional story and you're being frequent with it, I do probably 2 or 3 stories a week. I used to do them once a day, and I was really getting so much feedback. I had to slow my own roll, to be honest. I was like, I can't keep up with all of this. Great problem to have. You roll with it, right? But our offering is independent of their response. So if somebody says no, you just go, you know what? They're going to say yes at a later date, and you move on. So we want you guys to be authentic. Think open book right here. In your stories, you want to be relatable. You want to tell a story with emotions, because how do you connect with human beings? Emotions. That's how you connect with human beings. You want to paint the picture of how you felt before, how you feel now, so that they themselves can see themselves in your story. It gives them hope to believe, wow, I feel those emotions that she once felt. Could I feel the emotions she feels now? That would be amazing. That's being relatable. And your story, keep it detail specific, right? If you're only telling a story about energy, stick to energy. A lot of times we feel like we have to tell the whole kit and caboodle, right? All the nitty gritty. But guys, the riches are in the niches, okay? People want to see and hear the details, even if they don't have that same specific connection of the detail you're sharing. It's still relating to a human being on that emotional level. And maybe they have a small little issue with their health or their, financial status or connection, lack of connection with human beings and want that team. They can see themselves somewhere in that niche of your story, right? You don't have to be super vague, but be specific in your relatability, okay? Along with being relatable, you want to let people take a walk in your shoes. Let them feel what you felt, hear what you heard, see what you saw, the 5 senses. Let them be there so they feel a part of it, right? And share the story so that they're walking in your life. Be authentic. Carly, do you have anything to add on that?
Yes, just really quickly, the whole reason this story thing came about was because I was on a friend's Instagram page or Facebook page, and I was clicking through her stories, and it wasn't her, and it was a picture of a lady holding a goat, and I was so enamored by the goat picture, I was just clicking through to see the pictures of this goat. I didn't read anything that she was writing. And I knew it wasn't her, so I was kind of like, oh, what's going on here? So I thought to myself, you know what, if I can be relatable, make myself look like a goofy fool, and talk about things like, digestive issues and nursing babies and sleep issues. Like, I want people to see me in that, not some stranger holding a goat, right? With my story, I wanted to pick a picture that went with me, okay? And then letting the people take a walk in your shoes, guys, that opens the door for people to contact you. Somebody might have an unrealistic ideal of who you might be, but if you're talking about digestive issues and they've got digestive issues too, how easy is it for them to be like, oh my gosh, I suffer with that as well? And you've just opened the door for genuine, true connection. Okay?
That's true. Carly coached me. My very first story was an uncomfortable story for me to share. It was compliant, but it was an uncomfortable story for me to share just because of the vulnerability. And I thought, oh my gosh, and I'm sure many of you on here who know me, you're like, I think I know you, Tara. Well, this is still even uncomfortable for me to share. And, immediately after I posted this, I had a message from a girlfriend who I hadn't spoken to in over a decade. And she said, with tears in my eyes, Tara, that story is me. I'm ordering right now. That is the connection piece you're looking for. That's the connection piece. Okay, next slide. Okay, so here's an example that I did. So we all have selfie pink drinks and orange drinks, right? We've all got them in our phone, right? And I was needing a story one day and I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I have all these selfies with Plexus. And I thought, I'm going to make one with all of these selfies. I said, there's a reason I drink these drinks. Continue. They keep my mom's sanity in check. Continue. They keep my sugar cravings down. Continue. They help my muscles recover from activity. See what I'm doing? I'm painting a picture with all these. Next. And then I said, okay, I got you, friends. So remember, this is a condensed version for the sake of this training. So I did quite a bit, and then I did a little bit of education at the end. And I said, you know what? I got you, friend. It's time and on me. Which one do you want to try, slim or active? And see, this is a poll here, guys. It's not a yes or no poll or a double positive poll. It's a choice. And so I explain what slim does, and I explain what active does based on what we can compliantly say. And then they got to choose. And what do you think I did once they voted? You know what? Let me plug you into our 3-day box of this. You're going to love this with extra products. So, then somebody votes. What do you say? Here's an example. Hey, Kara, I got notification of your response to my poll. I'm so excited you're wanting to try Plexus. This is actually perfect timing as we have a 3-day private event to try these products and learn more about them starting next Tuesday. Let's get your sample to you and get you plugged into the event. How does this sound? I will tell you that I rarely get a no to this message. The only time I get a no is if they accidentally, like Carly said, they've accidentally voted. But guess what? Even if they accidentally vote, you guys, you're going to start a conversation. And I always say, hey, no problem. I hope that you're doing really well. How's life going with you? I get to reconnect and relationship build with that person, and it's not some weird cold message. So there's a silver lining to everything, right? But this is one way to follow up with people that vote in your poll. So you always end with a question so that they have a feeling, a desire to respond and give you dialogue back. I say what we're going to do. Let's get your sample and get you plugged into the event. Okay? All right, go ahead next. All right, Carly.
Is that it?
Yeah?
Okay, so like Tara said, it took her a little while to make her first story. It did me too, because like she said, this is my brainchild, and I really didn't know where I wanted to go with it. I didn't really know what I was doing, and y'all, my first story was like 25 slides. I would say that's a bit much, okay? It took me an hour and a half. It was a great story, and I got a lot of really cool feedback from it, and people loved seeing it. It was a lot. And to be able to do that in, if you're, if you work outside the home, if Plexus isn't your sole job, like we got to fit it in the nooks and crannies. So I would say 10 to 12 slides max, because then that's when people start getting bored and scroll on. So what you're going to do is find the joy in telling this, y'all. I'm going to tell you something. listen closely. All right, this is your story. This is your testimony. Nobody can disprove it because it is yours. And how is anybody ever going to know if you don't tell them? Okay? Stories sell products. I probably read that somewhere. I did not come up with that on my own. Stories sell products. So find joy in sharing these products through your stories. Okay? The return on investment. Tara, can I share what this did for me?
Sure. Yes.
So the first week I started this, I went silver, and I was really very surprised because I had stepped away from my business for a while, and I kept it up. And the next week, y'all, I made the leaderboard. I was number 2 on the Plexus leaderboard because of stories, because I opened my heart up. I let people in. I let people see what was going on in my life. And they were like, all right, Carly, I got that. I need help with this. This is an issue I'm suffering with. Sign me up, sign me up, sign me up. And so I was kind of excited about that. So for me, that was a major return on investment. I invested that time and I got a lot of great and positive feedback from it. And like I talked about a little bit earlier, you can post in multiple platforms, Facebook and Instagram. Y'all, if you're still struggling with the whole story thing, Google, how do I make a story? Or find somebody that grandchild, maybe your, daughter, you have somebody in the house that's on their phone all the time. I guarantee you somebody within your reach can help you develop or help you walk through how to actually upload them so that you can be successful. And then understand the riches are in the niches. Right? So like Tara was saying, if you talk about sleep from beginning, you need to continue to talk about sleep the whole time. You don't want to talk about sleep and then weight loss and then energy and then digestive issues and then knee pains and then tennis elbow and then sleepiness. Okay? Keep it simple. People want direct and simple. And if you think, I'm the only person with tennis elbow in the whole entire world that Plexus has helped, you would be surprised. You would be surprised. So go back to that list that we told you to make in the beginning and list every minute, whatever you think might be so insignificant. Put it down anyway, because I guarantee you somebody out there is struggling with that. And if they had any clue that Plexus could help that, they might be knocking on your door or knocking down your door.
It's so true. And guys, I want you to think when you walk in to create a story, know your purpose, right? What are some of your purposes? To share your emotions, to share a detailed, specific part of your story. But what is your purpose? It's to gain somebody in your 3-day challenge. It's to close a 3-day challenge. It's to close on an ambassador or a customer. And so you want to have at the end a call to action. And so let's say your goal is to get more people funneled into your 3-day challenges. You better be talking about your 3-day challenges or the products that are in those 3-day challenges or the things that this product can help you with, and then wrap it up in a poll that directs them to a 3-day challenge. Let's say you have somebody in a 3-day challenge already, and you noticed, because you can see who's looking at your stories, you noticed that Sue, who bought a 3-day challenge from you last week, she's been watching your stories. Now you can tailor your story to close that 3-day at the end because you know Sue's going to watch it. Right? We know what 3 days of these products did, but let me show you what 30 days of these products did. Let me tell you my 30-day story. I'm so glad I decided to move on and get a full month's worth of these products. Right? So you're tailoring this to have a close at the end. There's a purpose at the end. All right, we'll move on to the next slide here. So that brings us to a call to action today. Right? I want you to take the challenge here. All right, take a deep breath, roll your shoulders back. You're going to create your own story, okay? And you're going to do it in the next 3 days, all right? Again, what Carly said earlier today is genius when she says, if you don't know what a story even is, get your phone, open up Facebook, and look at the top. And you're going to see those circles of your friends. Go through and click it so you can physically see what a story is and what it means to click through the different photos of their story throughout the day so that you can grasp this overarching concept, right? I love it. I see some people already saying challenge accepted, right? What story are you going to say? Go ahead and put it in the chat. What's your first story that you're going to share? Like, own it. We are going to do stories because, guys, again, if you hopped on a little bit late, today I did a story about 3-day challenges about both of the different boxes that we have, the Renew You, Body plus the Beauty. And I shared about what the difference was. And I said, if you answered it yes to any of these questions, for things that those boxes help with, then maybe this is for you. Which one would you want? And I gave them a choice between body and beauty. Y'all, as I was signing into this, someone purchased a 3-day challenge box from me as I logged in. This works, right? Now, is it going to work if you only do one story a month, Carly?
Oh no. Mm-mm.
Is it going to work if you only do one a week, maybe?
Maybe.
What if we did 2 or 3 a week?
I would say that is exactly where you need to shoot for. 3 a week. 3 a week. Don't work on Sunday, or don't put one up on Sunday. Or hey, you know what? Sunday's a really busy time on Facebook. You might want to have one made so that you can post it on Sunday. Because a lot of people are scrolling their phones.
It's true. It's true. You guys can do this. We believe in you. Just go tell your story. Like Carly said, there's only one of you and only one of your story. Who's going to tell it if you don't? Right.
Did I tell y'all? Did I tell you all? Did I tell you all? I am so excited about this. Like, was this not seriously? Come on. I'm sitting here going, I actually just texted my staff too, and I was like, this is a really good training call. And then I just texted Tara, and I was like, how cute is Carly? Seriously.
Thank you.
Any cuter? And like, she's like on it. Like, it's, listen, so succinct. Make your list. Follow it in order. Make your list. Write your points out of what the products have done for you. Create your story. How many stories? I'm just checking in. How many stories a week is Carly recommending? The Carly method, we're going to call it. How many? The Carly method, 3. Yes.
At least.
At least 3. So as you get better, you can do more. Do you feel empowered? I feel empowered. Do you feel, I'm just checking, like, do you feel empowered? I feel like the instructions were so clear. And Carly, thank you so very, like, oh my gosh, you're really honestly and truly gonna rise to the rank here very, very, very quickly. And I love the way you address people. I love your passion for helping everyone on this call. Y'all, this is why we invite people to Plexus, because we have people like Carly who are willing to share their wins with you, because what she does doesn't impact, but we all win when Carly wins. Does that make sense? I just love that. And Tara, thank you so much. Like, listen, this is the epitome of great leadership, bringing your ambassadors forward and shining a light on them and sharing and really honestly cultivating great leaders on your team. This was honest. I hate for it to end. This was extraordinary. It was so good. So how many of you accepted the challenge? We just need to get your names down, and then we need to follow you all to make sure
tried.
it really happened.
Can I say one more thing, just real quick?
You can.
Okay, on Instagram, you can actually save your stories in a thing called a highlight. If this is over mind-blowing, that's okay. Just hop on over to my Instagram or someone's Instagram, and you'll see they're like these little circles down under their name right above their pictures. You can click on it. You can save your stories. Y'all, if you want examples, go find me on Instagram. Go find Tara on Instagram.
Little circle at the bottom. So when you see people's profiles and you see those circles at the top, all those people have done is they have ended up taking those stories and making them into a highlight, so that when someone comes to their page, they then see all of their stories. So thank you very much, ladies. We're so thankful that you're all here. Thank you all for being a part of this, and we'll look forward to seeing you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Whoops. Here we go. Okay. I am curious about what was your favorite thing that you just learned? Oops. By the way, I went and made a story. I began to make a story. I made like 3 parts of a story while we were listening. I walked outside, took a picture because it's about to storm, said something about the storm is upon us, and posted the fact that I had done some weed killing today. I know this is not Plexus related, but I was just showing off what we did today. So I'm curious, does anybody have any questions from what you just learned? Did you learn anything new that you didn't already know? I actually learned several things I didn't know. But if y'all already knew all this, I won't bore you. Okay, yeah. I think that's probably a personality thing. I'm reading what Linda said. She said not using the GIFs, emojis, etc. Probably a personality thing. I think I know that they're distracting to me, and when there's just like 1 or 2 things, it's less distracting, and I'm more likely to hang with somebody's story. Anything else that we want to discuss? Which you love using, Linda. I get it. Bueller? Anyone? Okay. Yeah, same here. I'm saying I'm gonna watch it again too, because this is one of the areas that there's a 2-part thing going on. It's something that I know I would be really good at if I would take the time to do it. And I really like the video because how they broke it down and kind of dummied it down for anybody who wants to understand how to make it work. With pretty much everything, social media wise, pretty much probably everything in the world, almost everything that you try depends on your personality. But I'm one of those people that I like to have something looking smoking hot before I put it out there. I used to anyway. But I've learned with the social media thing that sometimes you just have to start trying something. And then if it looks like a hot mess, or you're like, gosh, I'm not very good at this, or whatever, just continue to build your skill set on it, rather than, at least you're trying, at least you're putting yourself out there and all that kind of stuff. Also, one thing I wanted to hit on that I don't think that they did hit on, unless it was when I walked outside to take a picture, is if you become good at stories, or you're naturally just good at it and you start doing it, it can be a tendency, because it's addictive and you get so much feedback, like interaction from it, it can become addictive, and you can forget to post on your wall. And what it looks like to people who don't read stories, because there are those people too, what it looks like is that you're absent, like you're gone, or you quit selling Plexus, or you quit do whatever it is that you normally do on your Facebook wall. So I like to add the things that I'm posting on my Facebook wall. I like to add those to my stories lots of times as well. So yeah, Becky's saying she gets a lot more traffic on her stories than she ever does on her timeline. I think that's true for me too. I get a lot of, I'll open whatever you call it, open it, and it'll show me all the interaction that I got, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like who knew, right? So where she talked about being in the airport and watching people scroll and noticing that people do look at stories, somehow, like you've heard people say before, I don't know if they said it today, but a lot of people watch stories with their silent mode on, so volume completely off. So if you post something that has a video and there's a lot of interaction with the video and they need to have their audio on, just know that the majority of people, like after they get in bed or whatever, and they're still looking at their phone and they don't want to interrupt someone else, or if you're just sitting close to people and you don't want to be playing audio, just know that they're going to be watching. The majority of people watch those on silent. So, okay. I'm going to read the announcements really quick. We still have $9.95 enrollment, which includes 7-day trial pack of Slim. Welcome packs are 10% off with the code Healthy Happy, all one word, capitalized. We still have the incentive where if you sign 3, you get $100, or 6, you get $250 plus the business building bonuses. That's still going on. We have free shipping on subscription orders of 130 PV or more. Poinsettia or poinsettia, however you say it, it's still going on for the 99 welcome packs. The hemp incentive, that is 150 personal PV, a total over a month span, or from beginning of month to the end of month. If you purchase a total of 100 PV personally yourself, you'll get a free hemp when you pay $14.95 shipping. Also, there's an International Me Plus 3 and a Joyome Mother's Day pack. That this is all going on right now. So also, I'm going to read a couple things, get a little conversation going here. Seen a few different people say the similar stuff in the last day or so. One, here we go. I'm backing up to it. I saw where Mandy Avery said, big news. If you haven't ordered Plexus in over a year, you may be eligible to completely restart at the lowest price I've ever seen. I can send you the code, which the code she's talking about is from the, help me with the word here, the 3-day sample boxes, right? And she said, I can send you the code. Let me know. It helps. I help peeps start all the time. Hashtag restart. Hashtag today's a new day. Hashtag rise and shine. And she did it like this with a picture of herself. Looks super clean. It made me stop and read it. Okay. If somebody does that and you get a taker and you need some help, holla. Okay, I'm not going to take a ton of time tonight explaining what that's all about, but if you try that and you have a code to give, here's another one that did the same thing. Big news. Same thing. She posted a picture of herself. It's actually the exact same thing. Erin posted a picture of her and her dog. She's like, Kira is her dog. Kira wanted to make sure y'all know, if you have not ordered Plexus in over a year, you may be eligible to completely restart at the lowest price I've ever seen. I can send you the code. Let me know. So she just kind of swapped the wording up a little bit. I do believe that it helps your, I believe that it helps your algorithms if you are not wording things exactly, even if you put some spaces that are different, because copy and pasted posts seem to get limited to who they show it to, because Facebook's whole concept is original material. So if you're sharing a YouTube video, if you're sharing someone else's post, if you're sharing something that will click you out, like if somebody clicks it and it'll take them out of Facebook, or if you're sharing word for word what you've seen someone else share on your timeline, it's going to show it to less people, because Facebook is intended to, it rewards, I should say it like that, it rewards original content. Everybody following what I'm saying? Elaine said she posted that and she got 2 of her old ambassadors back between yesterday and today. So not a bad idea, I'd say. Yes. True. Becky said that goes for pictures and graphics too. If you're going to copy and paste a picture or a graphic, if you make a change to it, add text to it, add a border to it, you can even crop it a little. You can tilt it, crop it a little, anything that causes it to look different to the web crawlers on Facebook, it's going to help. They've pretty much made it all so easy these days. Editing photos and stuff, that used to be something you could only do on a computer, but now it's pretty simple. Even if you're just on the part of your phone where you take pictures, there's little editing tools there. At least there are on That's where it is on iPhone. I'm sure all smartphones have it. You may just have to look around to see how to do it if that's not something you're already familiar with. Okay. Seeing who all's on here tonight. I don't know who's on an iPad. That's just, it says iPad. It doesn't say a name. It may be one of you who's on here twice. Sometimes that's the case. Like if you're watching it and then you're using a phone, something else. I've seen that happen before. So, okay. Now I think, unless somebody has a question, we'll move on. I did think that this was a perfect time to make a goal for yourself to sharpen one of your skill sets. For example, stories I thought was a perfect one, since I know that a lot of people who have a move and shake in business right now are using stories consistently. And they're using the poll feature. Ooh, I like it. I really like that. Okay. I'm gonna dig around and see if somebody has some pretty graphics for something like that. Maybe I could take something else. Becky was saying maybe we could do a Mother's Day type event, or a mother's, focusing on Mother's event for May. I think that would be a good idea. I like it. I don't know. Jetty, do you know if the $9.95 is going to go past the last day of the month? He says not that he knows of. That would be my guess, is that not that we know of, but I don't. Okay, now. All right, moving on. I'm picking a whole tone. Just a minute, please. Hold just a moment. Maybe try one of these here. Okay, we'll give this one a shot. I'll say this too. If you're on this call tonight and you do stories, I just took a picture of who all's on here, and you attempt stories for 3 days in a row and send me proof, my team or not, if you'll send me proof that you did it 3 days in a row, screen capture your stories. I'd like for it to be more than just one thing a day, like not just one picture on your story or one post on your story. If you do an actual story where you have multiple things going on, and you can send me proof of it, 3 days in a row. The reason I'm trying to get you into a habit, send me the proof and I'm going to send you something fun in the mail. To be quite honest with you, I would tell you what I'm going to send you in the mail, except for I just thought of this. So I don't know what it's going to be yet, because my China game is not what it once was with all my prizes, right? Because, the stuff is from China. Okay. So I hadn't been ordering things from the Carroro place. Not right now, not ordering. I could go on and on, y'all. I'm full of jokes tonight. But for right now, whatever I already have in my stash that maybe came from China before the Carroro, okay? I got some good stuff in here. I got a whole little cabinet here that stays stock full of things that, good stuff, cheap, right? Okay. Things that you would have bought at the boutique and you wouldn't have known that it wasn't really from the United States. Maybe I need to start shopping American, right? If they'd start, the thing is, when you shop American, up until now, it's all going to change, by the way. This is the biggest piece of information you're going to get tonight is what I'm about to tell you. Up until now, even when you were shopping American, you were really shopping China almost always, because you turn your stuff over and the tiny little sticker will tell you were shopping China or Taiwan, even if you got it locally. So I never felt bad about it before. And now I'm just saying, I may not have the cool things, as many cool things, but for now I do still have a little supply cabinet over here that has some good stuff in it. So, oh, very nice. Noelle says she just got her 4th ambassador this month with this promo. Are you talking about the $9.95 promo? Yes, very nice. I'm going to post something about that later tonight. Put it on my stories. Hey, KK girl, what's up? I missed you last time. My fault. Okay, for real. Oh, look, everybody's already loving my story, y'all. People are already loving my story. And also, I keep turning my flashlight. No, that's my camera on accident because I'm trying to turn the volume up. Hold on. I'm acting like my own grandmother. I don't have a grandmother alive, but I'm literally touching all the wrong buttons and causing things. Oh, I just did it again. Here we go. I got an idea. Turn my camera off. Turn the volume up. There we go. Okay. All right. Anybody have a business prayer they'd like, a business request that they'd like prayed over? Maybe I should say it like that. How about something specific? Whoa. Yes. How about something specific? Just felt a shock in my torso when I said that. So I don't know what that means, but I'm going to say it again. How about something specific you'd like to see? Elaine asked for something specific. Also, if you are your own worst enemy, and if you are, I don't have to go into the details of what that means. It will have resonated with you when I said it. If you are what is in your way, you're only a choice away from being the one that gets out of your way. It's different when there's something else in your way, like the government or the Cororo. But if you're your own, we don't want to call ourselves our own worst enemy, but if that resonates with you on a business level because you know there is something that maybe fear of success, fear of what that looks like. And so I'm going to pray really quick that God would reveal to you truth about your unique situation. Because the way I do the business and the way you do the business, the way everybody does the business can be so incredibly different and yet reaches your tribe. I was telling Jetty, I said, it's been years since I had a steady flow of friend requests. I used to get friend requests so many a day, every day. And I was like accepting friend requests. And it's been a while. I don't put a lot of really specific information out there. I haven't in a while. But since I have started putting unique, I mean, it's not like unique as in nobody knows about it or where to get it, but it's unique to me, like very specific to my interests and very specific to current events. That just happens to be what I'm focused on right now. I wake up every morning with multiple friend requests. I don't even know where this is happening, why this is, I know why kind of, but that wasn't my intention. But I got very specific and niche-y, like niche. I got very niche-y. And when I did, suddenly it's like friend request, friend request, friend request, friend request, because I said, Macaw! And people are saying, girl, I've been looking for you, right? They're like, I'm assuming people are sharing my posts and it's causing people to say, I want to see what else she has to say. Okay. Now, that being said, the stuff I'm talking about is controversial. There's a possibility I may be running off. I'm not going to say as many as I'm drawing in because there's no way. I may be running some of them off. And you know what? I'm okay with that. If they can't handle the truth that I'm putting out there right now, because I'm putting stuff out there that's verifiable. It may not be what they want to hear, but it's got its own source to back it up. So if they don't want to hear it, then that's not really on me. But I'm putting information out there that is specific to me and my lifestyle. And I encourage you, it doesn't have to be about current events. It can be about breastfeeding if you're a new mom. It can be about, you know, I know Christia is doing cooking stuff right now. She has been doing going live, doing cooking shows almost every night, maybe every night. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I will tell you, interesting, I'm seeing her stuff all the time. That means it's getting traffic, because for me to see any of y'all's stuff is basically an act of God, because I have whatever the limit of friends is, and I have, like, I don't know, last I checked, 14,000 followers or something like that. So for me to see any particular person's stuff regularly, that means they're getting traction, and Facebook is showing it to all their friends, a lot more of their friends than normal. So her consistency in doing something every day is building an audience. She could be doing the same thing. It probably wouldn't have the same effect, but she could be doing something very similar in stories. So for example, if you're like, I don't want to go live every day, whatever, you could be gaining traction very similarly by sharing stories every day. So, okay, I'm going to run through these prayer requests. My stories, you can't see my stories? What? Okay, if everybody can't see my stories, let me know. Okay. So God, right now, we're going to come to you with very specific fire-ignited prayer. And we're going to pray with like wings of faith in this move of the Spirit. God, I pray for Elaine right now. She needs one more teammate, one more ambassador, one more level 1 for her to reach her goal for this month, God. And I'm just asking that. I'm just coming to you right now, Lord, and asking very specifically for that for my friend Elaine. I'm asking for divine, sharp focus for Jan. God, give her clarity, wipe away distractions. For Jan, and also just open up a new space inside her heart where her business becomes one of the, you know how it's kind of like as moms, we have the hats we wear or whatever. I look at it like rooms in your heart. So it's like you got your room in your heart where you keep your kids. You got your room in your heart where you keep your marriage. And then you have whatever. We all have these priority rooms. God, give it a bigger room inside her heart. You know, maybe she's had it annexed out in the garage or in the back 40. And it just doesn't seem to, kind of like you don't wash your faces often and consistently unless you got a zit problem. Well, we don't want to have the problem, right? But God, just open up a room inside the house in her heart that's specifically assigned to a priority level that's higher for her business. And just give her focus where she would be able to not feel distracted, wipe away distraction. When she says, God, give me focus, in that moment, that focus would come, divine focus. Thank you, God. Okay. Okay, Noelle, I'm not sure which one you're responding to. I should have jumped onto these quicker. So you said, that's me. You may have been agreeing with Jan. You may have been agreeing with something that I said. If you tell me below, I will come back to you. So God, right now, Becky is working on her customers. God, I ask that those that are within her realm of influence who would be drawn to her message, Lord, that you would like bubble them up like little prairie dogs, popping their heads up, right? Like whack-a-mole. Little prairie dogs. You see it, right? You can get the visual with me, that you have people peeking up into her stories, answering her polls, because she's going to get brave. She's going to have people looking at her stories, answering her polls. She's going to reach out and they're going to answer her one of two questions that are like, yeah, get me started right now, or send me more info. And that's going to give her a talking point and the ability to have a conversation. Right now, God, I just ask for divine instruction when she's having, like it literally prophetic. God gives me prophetic stuff for people all the time. It's not outside the scope of what God does. I promise you. Lots of times I'll be talking to someone and I'll be like, about to recommend something to them, and I'll feel like, whoa, you need to ask them about something specific. God prophetically works in my business all the time. For example, they're like, I need to lose weight. And I'm like, okay, well, probably the best combo for that is that's autopilot, right? The best combo for weight loss is autopilot. That's the way you answer that question. If you don't know, to say, God, is there something I need to ask them? How are you doing on other things so that we can focus on weight in the right way? Do you struggle with inflammation? You have any immune system issues? What about food allergies? Because that can cause problems. Energy, because weight loss is not a one size fits all. Almost, I would say it's one of the most diverse topics out there, because it can be anything from hormones to lack of energy to inflammation to literally toxicity. Like it can be so many things. And so helping people before you suggest products is, and I ask God, help me out here. Help me help this person. Do you believe that when someone's reaching out to you for help, that God would help you help? Yes, absolutely. Okay, Kendra said yes. I'm not sure what that was too. I'm sorry. If you will let me know if there's something specific you wanted there, let me know. God, I just pray over Linda's obedience, God, that you would cancel out fear over her. God, but you know what? I just believe right now that there's a choice in there for Linda. I believe there's a choice to focus, kind of like we were talking about with Jan. I feel like this will resonate with her. A choice to hammer out like a certain fragment of her day at the front or at the back of her day, or right in the middle of her day, whatever it is, where she can focus. And God, that you would give her clarity and creativity in that time, to where she won't just be, like feeling like, when we feel like a factory where we're just blip, 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 but God, that she would feel the creative notion literally from heaven. I had someone tell me once that this is a person who joined my team, and in a matter of a school time summer, she went from having started her business and before school started the next year. So from like May, probably April, from April to August or September, she quit her job because she became an Emerald ambassador. She started and became an Emerald. And she told me one of the things that she did, and I thought, well, isn't that clever and creative, is that she would get on Facebook and look to see who in her friends list was on Facebook right then, like who was online. And she would base her next post on what she knew about that person. Like she wouldn't tag them in it, but she would say something. She might give a testimony about food allergies because she knew they were online and they might see it. Creative, right? God, give us more creative strategies for our business. I pray over Becky Massengill right now. God, I just cancel out any voice that talks to her that lies. If there is any voice that doesn't speak of beauty, love, hope, and continual success, prosperity, bloom, God, that you would literally cut out any voice that lies to her, that she would literally not be able to hear it. God, I ask that you would spring up a well of hope in her heart. Also, that you would soften the hearts of those who are within her realm of influence, who need what we offer, that they would let their guard down and that she would let her guard down too, because sometimes even the expectation that people might not respond well, sometimes that comes across and people feel it, and it feels like, I don't know, it's like wall up. And so, you know, if your expectation is a fear of continuing to get crickets or whatever, sometimes we're getting a mirror back to us of what we expect to get. So God, that we lay down any mirrors, we lay down any presumptions or assumptions right now in Jesus' name. And we thank you ahead of time for her success. The wind is intense outside. I can hear it. If we lose connection, you guys will know why. Okay. So God, right now, that whatever the block might be, gosh, this resonates with me so strong, what Christia has said. I was kind of in that place about stories and Instagram, and I have been in that place where it's kind of like, she said, I'm partnering with a friend to start 3 weekly 3-day challenges. I would like God's supernatural grace to truly understand and carry out duplication in a way that resonates with me and others. For some reason, I've never really got it, like there was a block. And I will tell you, for a person like myself and probably like Christia, I can only speak to what I can speak to about. I can only say what I think, and you can tell me if this is right. But when you are a creative at heart, duplication feels like it goes against the grain. Creating something that other people can copy when really we're called to be original, we think, seems to be like counterintuitive. But the way I have to block it out in my mind, and maybe this will help you too, is I just told my friend Amber the other day, I said, I can remember on a post I did probably 2014 or something, a girl that I went to high school with said, I had asked a question and wasn't anticipating a negative or rude response, but her response was something like, honestly, I feel like you're a sellout because you quit taking beautiful pictures. You just did something that makes you more money. And okay, so first I went like this. And then I was like, well, first of all, that's not true. And I felt defensive, like I needed to defend myself. But I just came back and told her, I said, oh, I still take pictures. I just don't have to hurt myself doing it in order to make money because I have something else that makes me money. I take pictures and have joy, nothing but joy in taking pictures. Like, okay, that's how I feel about the creative thing. If I can do something that's duplicatable, like have a group, host an event, answer questions for my people's people who are not ready to answer questions yet, that's duplicatable. And actually, I'm actually doing I'm doing the, what you would call the, there's a word there, I can't think. Doing the biggest portion of it for other people, but it's duplicatable because they can bring other people into that same atmosphere and all get loved on, all get their questions answered, all get educated. Because I do it and do it consistently, it has me in a position to do all the fun creative things I want to do and do call out for my tribe, because I don't have to worry about income. It's probably, it is hands down, it's my favorite part of Plexus, is the fact that what seems counterintuitive actually makes me a boss babe. And by being a boss babe, I can talk about whatever I want to on my Facebook. I have probably had, I can't count how many messages from people saying, please don't stop what you're doing right now. It is opening so many people's eyes, da 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 da. And I say, do you do it too? And they're like, I can't, I might lose my job. What? I can't, I might offend my neighbor. What? Okay, whatever that is, that's okay. That's okay. Like, if you're in that position, it's okay. But part of being a boss babe is I can talk about what I want to talk about. I can be as creative as I want to on the weekends, or hey, even on a Monday. And I'm just trying to I'm trying to let something rise up inside of you, inspire. So right now we wipe away any blocks, because if it was creative, we'd be all on top of it, right? Like, may your creativity bloom. May your inspiration and creativity bloom in this time, in those things that you're working on, in your 3-day challenges and all of that. And may God just give you a supernatural grace for it, just like you asked. I'm going to pray over Tammy. Tammy, I ask for clarity, wisdom. Clarity and wisdom in your business, and that you would truly know your purpose, not just in this business, but in your life, and that God would begin to speak to you. Are you a dreamer, Tammy? Do you dream at night? That's what I'm asking you. God, give her dreams, inspired dreams, more and more and more. God, I just ask that you would pour out clarity to her, that you would pour out I don't know what this means. I'm feeling like there's a magnetism thing going on with you. So, so that you would be putting out what would be magnetic to those that God is intending to make some matchups with you, friends. I think you'll find. Just a second. Something just freaked me out. Just a minute. Here, baby. What are you doing? Oh my gosh, it was just the cat. Made me break out in a sweat. Crazy cat got in that closet and started moving the door. What are you doing? You nut? Okay, back to Tammy. Sorry. It really did make me break out in a sweat. Okay. Tammy, we call you into divine purpose and to alignment. I believe that God is going to bring you some lifetime friendships as this business unfolds for you. I'm seeing almost like a parallel to the way my business has worked, where I've got lifetime friendships with people I didn't even know before Plexus. And I just like, whoosh, I like send that like to you right now in Jesus' name. Okay. I pray that Noelle will be able to be heart-centered with her business. I pray that Noelle will be able to ask herself, who can I serve today? What do I have that would be in service to others today? What do I have in my wheelhouse, my ability to reach out and help others? Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Hang on a second. God, I pray that you would give Noelle divine focus, clear out the head clutter. And if there's something, I'm going to pray this over you too, Noelle. If there's something that tries to talk to you and it's negative, I say, I shut the mouth of the enemy over you right now in Jesus' name. Every day, I suggest that you wake up and you do the scramble, the frequency of the enemy prayer. Scramble, if you know what prayer I'm talking about. If you don't, message me, I'll send it to you. I have it, well, I did have it saved as a screensaver on my phone. I've got something different now, but every day I would wake up and say, God, that I would say, God, I still do it every day. It's kind of in my own words, but scramble the enemy's frequency. Help me tune into Holy Spirit. That your kingdom would come right now. Your will would be done right now on earth as it is in heaven. Jesus. God, I pray over Kendra's business. That you would get her into in step. I'm just seeing like a marching, a consistency, a groove is what you've said, but like an alignment. That you would open a place in her heart that is a specific room for her business. Not a garage, not a shed, but a specific room for her business. Thank you, God, that your heart is for us. And thank you for the season that we have been in and the season that we're moving into. God, I thank you in advance for the harvest. It's going to be like something that we can't even imagine. Also, I'm reading what Jan just wrote. I encourage all of you, anybody who has I had to do this for myself today, who has like lingering, and this may not be exactly your situation, Jan, but it did make me think of my situation. So like I had to make a list of things for myself today that are like the things that I go outside to and I think, shoot, I meant to buy soaker hoses. Why do I keep forgetting? Whatever it is. I have a whole bunch of things I could get done if I had command hooks or, some E6000 or whatever it is. I encourage you to keep a list. Mine almost needs to be written, this particular kind of stuff. I can keep it in the notes in my phone, but then I forget to go look at it. So it's like if I write it down, it does something. Like today, announce the call, schedule a new event. These are the kinds of things that I don't want to forget to do today. And I have intentionally not let quarantine, or whatever you want to call this, the Cororo, I have not let that hinder I did for a while, for a few days, and I was like, I want this to be something that when it's on the other side of it, I don't go, well, I gained 10 pounds and I lost a whole bunch of traction. You know what I'm saying? So I made it a goal and a priority to make lists. There are a few, like there's some, a couple things on Amazon that I need to order. I'm using this. I have found the deodorant of deodorants, and it's a spray. Like it's one and done. It only has like one ingredient. I'm not joking. And my sister, who has been the most absolute difficult to find a deodorant for, because they all break her out and all this stuff, I started telling her a few weeks ago, you got to try this stuff. You got to try this stuff. Anyway, finally, she broke down and ordered it. I said, seriously, don't talk about your deodorant in front of me again until you've tried this stuff, because I tried so many of them. It's THAI. They have it that's a crystal that you can use like this. I did not like that, because if you put it on too late, you make your crystals stink. Okay? Like if you don't put it on first thing when you're fresh. This other stuff, it's the same ingredients. It's mineral salts. Same ingredients. I've been using it for weeks. It is the best stuff I've ever. Best stuff I've ever tried. Hang on one second.
Lori, what's it called again?
It's called it's like Thai, THAI.
Off Amazon or what?
I think you get like 2 big bottles of it for like $15 or something. Big.
Okay. And it's funny you said that, because I was going to ask you, you make your own toothpaste, don't you?
I did for a long time. I was using coconut oil and it seemed to melt. I've started using one called Earth Paste.
Okay.
I don't say that everybody needs to use it or does. I just happen to like that one. This deodorant, totally different thing.
Okay, thanks.
Lori, I've used that Tide deodorant for the past 5 years.
Oh, it's good stuff, isn't it? Do you use the spray?
No, it looks like a salt lick in
Yes.
a little bottle. Let me get so I can show you with my hands. It's literally like this tall, and it's a salt lick, and I have had the same bar for 5 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's wonderful. I got it at Whole Foods.
Yes. Okay. It's that brand?
Yes.
Yes. People, it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that it could actually work if that's all it is. It works amazing. Somebody told me about one of those crystals years ago, and I was like, yeah, I don't think so. And then I got one recently, like a few months ago, and the actual salt lick.
I'm going to go get it.
Yes. Mine actually, I like the spray better just for my lifestyle, because sometimes it'll be midday before I go put deodorant on. Depends on what we're doing around here, but okay, so yep. Yep. Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
Can you take the lid off of it? Does it have yours have a lint?
Yeah, hang on.
Yep. It looks just that's the way does yours have a fragrance or no?
No.
Okay. It's got a different, well, you've had it for 5 years. I was gonna say it's got a little bit different label. I'm telling you what, that Spritz one, I was like, this is the most incredible. Anyway, I don't know why I started talking about deodorant, but I will tell you, it's changed my life. I tried, by the way, if you want to know all the things I've tried, I tried Lumi, I tried Native, I tried the one at Walmart, I tried the one at Sam's Club. I tried so many of them. I never dreamed that you could find one that's so simple and inexpensive and one ingredient, and there's nothing bad for you. So, okay. So I'm going to say one little more prayer. Well, I'm starting that song back a little bit So I just I feel that we are on the verge, like literally tiptoeing, looking over into the Grand Canyon of what's about to happen. And it may cause a really weird cultural divide in our society for a while because of the fact that things that we've believed to be true and really can go back and prove them in textbooks, like, no, that's not the way it is. And then once stuff is exposed and we look at it and go, oh my gosh, well, that can't be right. I've literally not even taught that to my children. That can't be right. I can show you where I learned this when oh I don't know what I did. Okay, I'm back to that. Okay. Anyway, for me, the way the world is going to look, probably, this is just my guess, is people may get stuck. And I see it almost like an old grandpa rocking in a chair, like, whittling a toothpick, right? And it's like, nope, I'm sticking with what I knew, no matter what's presented to me, And my prayer is that it's two things. One, that I'm not one of those. I don't want to be that. I want to be open to what God is doing in this new season, even if it contradicts what I've been taught. And I want to be open to God speaking straight to me, And as I learn things about our country's history, that I realize and go, oh my gosh, like, I'm just going to tell you guys, when I first pulled my kids out of school, I did it for one reason, and then I kept them out of school for a different reason. But I have often said, I've often been quoted as saying, to explain to someone why you homeschool a kid is almost impossible to someone who doesn't get it, because it's almost immediately becomes insulting, because the reasons that you do it are because it's different than what you were doing. And then suddenly you're in that place where they're like, well, my kids are still, and that's not what it's about. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not about what your choices versus my choices, but people often want you to explain something that's different. And there's a weird element there, if you understand what I'm saying, where it's hard to explain why you're doing something different without sounding insulting to what's always been. But we're about to learn about a whole lot of things that are part of our history or are not part of our history that we've learned the wrong way. And I really believe that's what I just told you is true. We're probably going to learn that, like, for example, you already kind of know that the Pilgrim and Indian story might not be the way we were led to believe, right? Like, there was some hardcore bludgeoning that went on for us to take over the new land, right? And then we sing about cute little songs in elementary school, and we have them dress up like pilgrims and Indians, and we tell them a story that's not exactly true, because it sounds better and it puts our country in a good light, or puts our forefathers, whatever. I don't get it. I don't know the agenda. I just know that take that and move 10 steps forward, like 10 steps bigger than that. And that's the kind of stuff that we're going to go, oh, I didn't know that. And yes, whitewash. Yes. And what can happen is it can cause a huge divide between people who have been being woken up all this time and those who are not interested in waking up. So my prayer, I'm back to my prayer, it's twofold, and it's that we would have grace on those who are not ready to wake up, and that we can talk to them lovingly, because I will tell you right now, I'm woke to some things that are not fun to hear, but had I heard them when I was a child, I would just accept them, right? Like, had I been taught this all along, I would have just accepted it. It wouldn't be that hard to hear now, because I'd be like, oh, that's just the way it is, or the way it was, or whatever. So may we have grace on those. And if your beliefs start splitting from, right, from and you speak your truth and you get attacked for it, may God give you supernatural courage in those instances. Because y'all, I have had some of the most hateful things of my life said to me in the last couple of weeks by people who don't even know me. They're not talking to me. They're throwing spitwads at a concept, right? Throwing spitwads at a concept. And I tell myself, I've had so many messages from people saying, I don't know how you don't just literally like do the bludgeoning thing, you know, like put them in their place. And I'm like, they're already in their place. Like, I can't choose a place for them. If I could do that, they would listen to what I'm saying. But the hateful things that have been said on, you know, publicly on my wall to me, talking to Trump supporters be like, okay, graphics and memes that they're sharing is like, I'm like, whoa. Because all I can think is, if I get it, I'm not like super amazed by the man that he always was, but his conservative views about abortion, for one, and multiple other things are why I voted for him before and would vote for him again, because the alternative was to vote for someone who I believe 100% would already have mass vaccinations, regardless of how you feel about vaccinations. I'm just telling you, that's where we'd be. And we would be already chipped if you wanted to eat. And that's not a world I'm interested in living in. And so right now, the way the agenda is rolling out, regardless of how you feel about him as a person, the fact is, if we had voted in the other candidate, well, you can just go read her tweets. You can tell exactly what she thinks about things. Go look at her agendas. And I'm telling you right now, we would be in FEMA camps doing as we're told. That is a scary notion. And I also believe that the same is true for 2020 if Trump doesn't win 2020. We're headed toward the do as you're told. Follow the organizations. The WHO told you to this. The FBI told you to that. And taking away our rights, taking away our rights, taking away our rights. And I believe that our country is on the verge of an absolute revolution that's needed to happen probably since the day it started. So, and I'm not interested in being hateful with people. I was responding to what Becky, and I know you're not either. I'm not interested in being hateful with people. But I'm also not going to sit around and wait for them to develop a mandated vaccine and inject all of us with it so that they can ignite a 5G tower and turn us into robots. Not happening. Not without a fight. That ain't happening. No. Too many rednecks that love this country. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So God, right now, I just lift up, regardless of what you feel about him, I lift our president up. God, that your light would shine on him and through him, through his decision making. God, that the light of your truth would shine on our nation, and that we would be open and ready for it, for what you're about to expose. God, I trust in your divine plan, and I give my life to your plan, God, even if it means I'm called names. That's one of the things that says we can count on. Okay. One of them the other day, she said, I can't sit around and argue with you all day. And I said, well, then you're excused. And that's the meanest thing I've said. That's the meanest thing I've said. Well, okay, wait, is that the meanest? Oh, I told someone the other day that I don't think my friend was asking you, because they weren't. They were asking me something and they tried to answer, right? I don't think they were asking you. They were asking me. I hadn't seen it yet, so I hadn't responded. May the light of your glory and your truth be on our military's agenda right now. And the truth is, God, may the light of your truth shine out over this whole entire world right now. Because I think we've been under a secret new world order for a long time. People are saying, oh, we're about to go into the new world order. And I'm like, we've been run by a deep state, which is puppeting all of the politicians for generations. And anyone who's tried to come up against it so far has been told no with a bullet. So I pray for him. Every single day as he stands up there, I think to myself, when somebody says something like, to me on Facebook, and I think, I don't know how he stands up there and takes their nonsense and abuse, because he knows, he knows the truth about what's about to be exposed. He knows all the stuff that's about to be exposed. And since he knows it, it has to be hard for him to listen to them, bludgeon him with the lies and their nonsense and their repeat and their record player of BS and baloney. God has sent me all over this country. Everywhere I've gone, every Plexus trip and otherwise, most of my trips are Plexus trips. Every single place I've gone, the first thing I do is I go out on the balcony of wherever we are, and literally, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I've been doing this for years now. And I just say, like the Care Bear stare concept, God, shine the light of your glory out on this massive city. God, shine your truth in this region. God, whatever your plan is, whatever your agenda is. I had no idea we were on the brink of a revolution when 2012, when I really started doing that. I had no idea. And now God has, like, he sends my friend and I to all these places. If you're in my supernatural healing group, I posted a document in there today that's about a man who has a very similar history to what Amber and I do, where he's just sending. Send this guy do the weirdest things, and he does it all on God's economy too. Like, he shows up somewhere that God tells him to go, and there's a room paid for, right? There's another lady that I follow on Twitter, very similar. Her name is Sheila Holmes. She has a book called God's Economy, and she literally, God will tell her, go to the airport. Yeah, Sheila Holm, Holm. And she'll go to the airport and he'll be like, go to the will call desk. And she'll go to the will call desk and she'll be like, ask for tickets. She'll say, are there any tickets in my name? Tickets she didn't order. Yes, ma'am, there is a ticket in your name. Okay. She goes where she's told. People pay for her dinner. She gives the message that God sent her to give. People put her up, give her places to stay. There are ambassadors wherever she is, and God has already prepared them before her. Can you imagine? She's like, I don't even take credit cards with me anymore. There's no point. And that document that I shared in the Supernatural group today was talking about a gentleman. we came across this stuff back in September. I don't even remember. She found it. My friend found it. And it's called Canaanite Altars in the Federal Reserve. And for whatever reason, she found it. I printed it out, all 20 pages of it, flew to Maui with it in my purse and read a whole bunch of it. That's how I knew it was from September. Didn't understand the Federal Reserve back then, had no idea that was going to come into play in the near future. I was just reading about this interesting man that God sends places, right? Send him to a place where, this is total recall here. I don't know if I'm going to get this right, but basically send him to a place where he thought he was about to get to go home, thought he was finished with the last mission, and God's like, one more place. So he goes to another place, and he ends up, he shows up at a place, and he's like, he had booked a reservation. They said, yes, sir. We saw that you had booked for one night, but we felt like that you might need two. He doesn't know these people. And God had set up an ambassador in this place, right? And he says, and also God told me to put you in the presidential suite. And I went ahead and took the luxury of booking you an appointment with the archaeologist here in town tomorrow. He'll be expecting you. He's like, that's how he knew what he was supposed to do. Like the person at the bell desk was like, you're supposed to meet with the archaeologist. And he's like, okay. So he goes and meets, and they're saying, he said, the archaeologist is telling me, yeah, this is where this Canaanite altar is. It's a false idol worship place. And he's like, this is where the gentleman met to develop what we know as the Federal Reserve. And he named the Rockefeller, right? And he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, well, can I see it? Can I see the altar? And he goes, well, there's a house built on top of it. But so he's like, oh, okay. So they take him in, and God says, just pray until you can see it in your mind. It's like, okay. So he prayed, and I'm very much paraphrasing, but God, once he could see it in his mind, God said, now kick it. And this was in 2009, if I'm remembering right, 2009. And yesterday, okay, keep in mind, I read about it in September, forgot that it was even the Federal Reserve. I forgot. I knew it was a money entity. That's how much I understood all this. Yesterday, I'm walking past a stack of papers that have been brought here, and it practically bit me on the ankle. I looked down, it was like, whoa, like glowing at me. And I was like, whoa, and I pick it up. It's dog-eared where I turned the pages over, and I start looking at it, and I'm like, the Federal Reserve. A gentleman in 2009 went to where the Federal Reserve was concocted illegally on a false idol worship altar. Did it all completely on God's orders till he could visualize it and kicked it. And we're seeing the fruit of that right now. The Federal Reserve, like, I don't know, a few weeks ago, I posted on my wall, the Fed, and people are like, what about it? And I'm like, no, I saw a comment in the George News chat that said, and it was by George News, which George News is military, and they have inside scoop all the time. And they had said, ding dong, the Fed is dead. And I was like, what? And so I'm like, the Fed. And people are like, what? Well, somebody who knows a lot about finances and the way the economy works, she messaged me. She's like, what about the Fed? And I said, I don't know. I just heard that it's over with. And she's like, no, there's no way. I said, oh, okay, maybe I had that wrong, but I didn't think that I did. In about 3 hours, she messaged me back and she goes, okay, here's what's going on. Looks like the Treasury took over the Fed. I noticed the other day that it looked like the Fed was buying up a lot of bonds. The Fed can't buy bonds. I may have this backwards, but this is how I remember it. I should do one of those Mike, what is his name? Mike Roast, the story as I remember it. Okay. So it's basically a thing about, she said, I saw that the Fed was buying up bonds and they can't. She said, I was like, what's going on? The Fed can't buy, I think it was bonds. She said, so they must have been, she said, they must have been taken over by the Treasury. And I said, yeah, that's what they're saying. It's taken over by the Treasury. And it's just a matter of completely crumbling. To think that the paperwork that I found, that I was reading in September, was about a gentleman going over there because God told him to. I can't even remember where there was. And kicking something in the spirit, doing a prophetic act. And it took from 2009 until 2020 for it to undo. It's amazing, isn't it? To me, it's so fascinating. So, may God send you on epic adventures of obedience, to blow a shofar, to stand on the county line, to declare and decree God's word, to declare and decree a shift in the atmosphere where you live. May he call you to a pulse point on this planet we call Earth, and have you literally just stand there and say, God, may only truth surround this spot where I stand. May only the light of your providence be allowed in this place, God, that I stand here like a pressure point, like an acupressure point on this planet. And God, I now have full faith that you have other people doing stuff just as wild in all the places. Did you know that the 33rd, the 33rd parallel, or the 33rd, I can't remember. It's this, the 33rd. It's connected to Masonry. And a lot of things are built on the 33rd. That's how many ranks there are in Masonry. And the 33rd, lots of times you'll find that lots of ritualistic sacrifice type things happened on, and I live near one. Didn't know that. God was sending me very near to a town very near to do all kinds of weird things. And like, we've been doing unusual things for a year. And watched a video the other day that was talking about the latitude, longitude on the 33rd. There's a 33rd up and there's a 33rd down. Like, there's one above the equator and below the equator, if I'm remembering right. And the place that God was sending us over and over and over is right on it, to call on his righteousness. Thank you, a parallel. Call God's righteousness, to call God's justice, to call God's love, his mercy, his grace, to stomp on the ground. There's tunnels. I'm just telling you, we didn't know why. We just were doing it. Whatever God was telling us to do. Shift the atmosphere here, God. Shift the atmosphere here, God. God, we invite you into whatever corruption has been here, God, that you would expose it. God, we invite your justice. We invite your love. We invite your Holy Spirit. If you've not been invited here before, God. I'm going to close this out right now. I don't usually talk about that kind of stuff very much, but I felt like maybe that God wants to inspire some of you. I will tell you that once you get outside your box, as far as I am right now, and it may be way more next year, but once you get outside your box in the types of things that I no longer find weird. My business doesn't feel weird at all. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm out there blowing the shofar, stomping on the ground, telling Jesus, we need you here. Makes like seeming like posting on Facebook is nothing. Right? It's just the way that God keeps me. It's the way God keeps my bills paid so he can send me on my weird little missions. And may that truly inspire you. May that inspire you into obedience, and may it inspire you into furthering your business reach so that you can go do the things. It may be working with little kids. I mean, it may not have anything to do with the stuff I'm talking about, but may it rise up a streak of creativity in you that resonates in your heart in a powerful way, so that in 6 months, you don't recognize your life. You say, God, how did you flip everything on its head? Everything that I thought was attacking me is not. It's like a boogeyman in a closet that's not really there. May I not be stuck so like this. May I see the focus of a world that needs change. Not so constrained that it's like, I don't know what to post today. I don't know what to do. And it's like, no, broaden my perspective. Broaden my perspective. Chains no more. No longer slaves to anything. Our country has been enslaved by the Federal Reserve and by trafficking, by even the way our taxes are done for far too long. And it's time for it to all be over with. And I call a brand new revolution for the whole world. Did you know that the whole world is watching right now? They're watching what America is going to do, and they will follow. There are patriots, the yellow vests over in France, Canada. They're watching. There are right now the Q drops are patriots from all over the world saying, thank you for getting us out from underneath this slavery. They're saying thank you from all over the world. They're from all over the world. The over in Europe, they're watching and they're saying, they're sending video messages. Thank you. Please don't stop. Stay the course. Stay the course. As we break out of the World Health Organization, as we break out of the Federal Reserve, these are all illegal. These are all implemented and false idolatry, and they're all illegal. And they have been forced on us all this time, and we're about to be out from underneath it all. It's just a matter of playing it out, and prayer is so important right now. So regardless of how you feel about our president as a person, just know it had to be a bull in a china closet, because politicians weren't getting it done, and neither were nice people. Like, I loved Ben Carson, but he's not enough to get it done. Like, we need it out from underneath all these organizations. We need it out from underneath these agencies who are run by corruption. I just watched a really good video. I didn't get to finish it before the call, by a gentleman who, this will be the last thing I say, I promise, but last year, I'll back it up so it'll make sense. Last year, I watched a video about people who are mind control, MK Ultra. That video, I didn't know at the time, was a court, some sort of court system that's a world court. The gentleman's name is Robert David Steele, I believe, who opens it. He's a judge. He's wearing a robe. He does a tribunal, and he gets depositions from sworn testimony from people who have had this happen to them at the hand of government agencies. Okay. When I watched it last year, I didn't realize it was a tribunal. I didn't realize that these people, I did think, what is going on here? Like, this is the world court. I mean, I didn't know there was such a thing as a world court. It's like crimes against humanity type thing that's international, like sex trafficking is international, you know, crossing borders. So that's another reason the wall, right? They're making it about something else, but it's not. Trying to make it politically correct and stuff, and he's like, nope, there has to be a border so that the trafficking stops, right? Did you know that American males are the biggest consumers of trafficking children? Now, I'm not saying that they're everywhere. I'm just saying this is where they bring them, and it has to stop. Okay? Now, I watched that last year, and mostly what I learned in the video last year was about how mind control works, what they do to these people to split them, and then how they're able to control them once they've done that. And it was fascinating. 2 testimonies, a man and a woman. Today, I wanted to share that video, but before I did, I wanted to know who the man was who opened the courtroom thing with the robe on. I'm like, if he's some fake and that was fake, I'm not going to share it. So I look up who he was, and I pull up this video that is him explaining the government entities, the shadow government, the deep state, secret societies, and what umbrellas each one of them fall under, and then other ones like the and the FBI. I don't want them to take my video down. That's why I'm doing, okay? How they were intended for one thing, but then they turned out, like he said, 70% of them need to be cleaned out. The percentage of people who are good to bad, they had intentions to be good, but then they started being run by bloodline families that don't have good in mind for us as humanity. Okay. Look at people like crops. Like they breed, he opens it by saying, breed children for the purpose of trafficking them. It's disgusting. Okay, so the video of him doing the actual legal deposition stuff, that's one video. The other video is the weirdest. The interview itself is very weird. Like whoever's interviewing him, I don't know what this guy's all about. He kind of looks like a vampire. So it was kind of weird. But listening to the man's answers, breaking down the different parts of the government and all of that was very, very interesting. And if you want the link to that video, message me, because I don't know if I'm going to put it out there until I watch it all myself. I was curious because this man knows so much, has written multiple books, and actually donated his entire library to one of our, I don't remember what college he said, because he has so much information, and he himself was ex-CIA. Okay. And he was just sharing everything that he knows. And it really helped me to kind of categorize things that were kind of escaping me before. So, and with that, it's 10 o'clock. So do you know where your children are? I'm going to let y'all out of here. I appreciate you guys hopping on here tonight. I pray that creativity rises up in you tonight while you sleep. A new, fresh perspective on your business, and your business setting you free to do God's work. In Jesus' name, I'm closing this out here tonight, you guys. Thanks for hopping on. Okay. I'm going to actually Everybody hold your horses for just 1 second. I'm going to grab. Okay. These are going to be in the wrong order. This is the weird video I was talking about. If y'all want to grab, if you can grab it. I'm saying it's the one with all the information. But the interview guy is really weird. I don't know what he's about. I'm not. Okay. And then I'm going to grab this other. Hang on 1 second. All right. Here's the other one. Well. Now, I will say this one is a shortened version of a very long video. If you want to watch the actual MK Ultra depositions, this is a shortened version to kind of explain what the trial was about. Talks about adrenochrome, trafficking children. It talks about all of that, okay? He opens up before they do the tribunal. So that introduces you to him. The second video introduces you to him. The other video breaks down a whole bunch of information about the organizations. If you want to watch one that will go into detail about the tribunals and the two people's testimonies, you can probably go on YouTube and use the ITNJ Judicial Commission Chief Counsel Robert David Steele. It's all at the bottom of this video. You can probably inquiry into human trafficking. You can probably use what's at the bottom of this video that's short, the Facebook one, to look up the longer version of it. I sent the short one in case you don't want to watch the whole long one. Okay, for real. Be blessed. Y'all have a good night. See you next week. Let me know if you do stories, okay? Good night, everybody.